Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
$25 million pledged to over-the-hill communities. We've got that story for you straight ahead.
A 15-year-old boy loses his life in a fatal car accident. Our News has the details.
Our News is brought to you by Alive, the nation's newest and best LTE network.
Good to be alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, a state-of-the-art community center and free Wi-Fi were among several promises made to inner-city residents and business owners as the Minnis administration laid out its over-the-hill rejuvenation project. Jared Higgs reports.
There were a lot of promises made with a plan and promised funding to back it up. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, flanked by his government's inner-city representatives, flaunted a well-received plan for rejuvenating over-the-hill communities that included major tax incentives for residents and businesses.
What that would mean for the business community would mean that you would pay no real property tax and you would pay no business license. For both the business and the residents, it would also mean that you would pay no duty on building supplies. You would also pay no duty on equipment for your businesses as you commence your businesses.
A white paper outlining the nitty-gritty details of the tax benefits is set to be released soon. Some of the other promised incentives include free Wi-Fi and a state-of-the-art community center that will feature a nursery as well as an elderly care center. The consistent collection of garbage and the end of outside latrines by 2025 were also featured in the plan's section on revitalization. Presenting the brass tacks of the project was Dr. Nicola Virgil Roll, who says 88 standpipes are still providing water to thousands in various communities.
Another important aspect for us is improving access to water and sanitation for all. And so the issue of eliminating the pit latrines, the outside toilet, is a fundamental issue and a fundamental target of this program. We want people to have access to indoor plumbing and to indoor flush toilets. That's an important aspect.
As residents had their turn to ask questions, it became clear that the plan is not the be-all, end-all for development in the community. The questions dealt with the realities of life, paying rent instead of owning a home, and the need for an increase in pay for workers in the country. Now, the question and answer session was the opportunity for residents of Baintown to truly express the issues that matter most to them. The topics that were brought up range from issues to do with mortgages and housing to a lack of confidence in the area's representation. Despite the room becoming tense at times with the line of questioning, Virgil Roll attempted to give answers in the context of what the project will provide. Dr. Minnis did not respond to any of the residents' questions and concerns, and neither did Bain and Grantstown MP Travis Robinson, even after a concerned citizen expressed dissatisfaction with his representation. When it was all said and done, though, it was clear that residents, past and present, have their hopes set high.
What we heard tonight is long overdue. And the business in the area in East Street used to be from Bay Street straight down past Robinson Road on both sides of the street, owned by us, black people. And people were able to live and they earn a good living, and they were able to send their kids off to school with that.
The first phase of the Over-the-Hill Rejuvenation Project will begin next April. According to officials, $5 million will be set aside every year to help pay for the initiatives, with government looking to leverage its tax breaks to enter into public-private partnerships to fund the rest of the project's goals. Reporting for our news, I'm Jared Higgs.
Police were on the scene of yet another fatal car accident just after 10 last night in southern New Providence. Officials say the victim has been identified as 15-year-old Darren Pickstock. Georgia Bain reports.
6 persons have lost their lives in fatal accidents this week. A teenage boy became the latest victim here on East Street South and Sealing Avenue just last night. Press liaison officer Shanta Knoll says both drivers appear to be in their teens.
Our information thus far is that shortly after 10 p.m. tonight, A black Nissan Fuga was traveling north on East Street, and a white Honda Fit south on East Street in the area of Sea Boulevard when they collided. Both vehicles, as a result of that collision, spun out of control, resulting in the white Honda Fit hitting a lamppost.
According to Knowles, police had to enlist the help of fire services, which used the jaws of life to remove the teenager's body from the vehicle.
We can confirm that a juvenile male is deceased. Both drivers of the vehicles were taken to hospital and are listed in serious conditions.
Though investigations are in the preliminary stage, police believe that wet streets and inexperience behind the wheel may have played a part in the deadly crash. Officials are urging motorists to drive with due care and attention.
As we are early on in this investigation, we are unable to speak to all of the factors that may have contributed to the accident. However, we do believe that inexperience may have played a role, as well as the streets being wet and speed. In that vein, we are asking all motorists to please pay attention to the roads, the conditions of road while driving, and also the rules and regulations that govern us here on the streets.
50 traffic deaths have been reported so far this year, tying with the number of traffic fatalities on record for 2016. Reporting for R News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
A 41-year-old Golden Gates woman was today charged with gaining tens of thousands of dollars by way of fraud. Roxanne DeVoe of Sisal Road was arraigned on 8 counts of possession of a forged document, 8 counts of uttering a forged document, and 8 counts of fraud by false pretenses. She's accused of gaining over $64,000 from CIBC First Caribbean Bank by way of using forged documents between March 30th and May 30th. She pleaded not guilty to all 24 charges. Because of the nature of the offenses, she was denied bail. Deputy Chief Magistrate Andrew Forbes remanded her to the Bahamas Department for Corrections until February 27th, when she will be presented with a voluntary bill of indictment. Also in court, 21-year-old Jeremy Petitfier of Yellow Elder Gardens in the black sweater. He was charged with 1 count of unlawful sexual intercourse. It's alleged that on December 3rd, Petitfier had unlawful sexual intercourse with an 11-year-old girl. He was not required to enter a plea and returns to court on February 27th. Before the Deputy Chief Magistrate, as well as 25-year-old Millennium Gardens resident Ike Stubbs in the Aqua Bahamas team shirt. He was charged with 5 counts of attempted murder that occurred on December 5th. He was not required to enter a plea and returns to court on February 27th for a presentation of a voluntary bill of indictment. Dr. Minnis also addressing the commercial enterprises bill at that town hall event last night. The Prime Minister says the bill, which has passed in both the upper and lower houses of Parliament, is necessary to create jobs in new industries.
Just the other day, and I'm going to touch this just for about 3 minutes, just the other day, the government passed a commercial enterprise bill. With this bill, it allows for businesses that do not exist now to be brought into the Bahamas. They're not taking anything from you. Businesses that we are not engaged in now will be given opportunities to come here.
Minnis also addressed the need to liberalize the issuing of work permits, saying that as it stands, Bahamians aren't trained to do the jobs. Minnis added that a part of the deal is that foreigners must train Bahamians to do the job.
Because we do not yet have the skill for that type business, it is essential for those individuals to bring in individuals in our country that has the training and the knowledge and be given the proper work permit so that those businesses that don't exist now can now develop. A part of that program is they must train our people so that we eventually can engage in such businesses.
No matter how the Minnis administration tries to sell its commercial enterprises bill, former Minister of State for Legal Affairs Damien Gomez QC says the bill was ill thought out, adding it would be a mistake to bring it into law. Gomez also hit back at Attorney General Carl Bethel, who accused the PLP of vicious race baiting.
It's nonsense to suggest that we are race baiting. The government has failed to indicate any study that it has conducted or commissioned to be conducted to justify its departure from a traditional consensual position on immigration in the Bahamas. We maintain that the bill is ill thought out. that it confuses how the law relating to immigration is to be applied, given that the Immigration Act is not being interfered with.
The controversial bill seeks to liberalize the granting of work permits to an enterprise that wishes to establish itself in the Bahamas and requires work permits for key personnel. On Tuesday, Bethel accused some elements of the opposition of using the bill to stir up xenophobic and irrational fears. However, Gomez says the opposition is simply trying to point out the confusion this portion of the bill will create.
The confusion which that will create is, and we say, foreseeable, and it ought to be avoided. We do not believe that the attempt by the government to cause a stimulation in the economy can succeed in the form that it is set out in the bill. And it is just nonsense to suggest that anyone is stirring up race hatred.
He also took issue with the $250,000 threshold for foreign investments, a concern also expressed by former Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham.
You can't even buy an apartment with that. It's a minimal investment, and to think that one could justify issuing a work permit on the basis of such a small investment is remarkable. Not even Hubert Ingraham is able to support that.
The Queen's Counsel urged the government to engage in consultation to come up with an impactful bill instead of deflecting.
The way to deflect it is to actually say, like, okay, we may have made an error. Let's sit and discuss how best we can go forward.
Well, as you bounce from party to party this holiday season, you may experience one or two new beverages. Mixologist Kenneth McPhee gave our news a quick crash course on how to make your own mojito.
This right here, Kenneth, this is our Gone Fishing Mojito.
This is our Gone Fishing Mojito.
But before we got to enjoy this drink, we had to go through the process. The kicker, Bacardi O-Card.
With this, we're doing it by the pitchers, which is going to be offered there. Instead of just getting a cup, we feel that the drink is so good. It's so refreshing.
You need more than just a cup?
You do need more than just a cup. Yes, sir.
Right.
So this is considered your cup.
We start out with a few limes.
9 limes. This is approximately about 3 ounces of sugar. We want to sprinkle it over, just to get it down.
Right.
And then we're going to use this little toy right here called a muddler. So the purpose of this and the granulated sugar instead of simple syrup is so that it can measure properly.
Then we grabbed a few mint leaves, but there's a trick to it.
What we do with the mint leaves is crush it first. This is a mistake that all bartenders make.
Did some don't crush it?
No, what they actually do is muddle it with the limes, and they create what I call a garbage drink. Because of the fact that you have your mint leaf all torn up, you're drinking it, it goes into the straw, it clogs it up, you're drinking it by your mouth. When you're smiling with your girl when you're out, you see this big glob on your teeth, you know? Yeah. So we just crush it in order to release the oils from the skin also, and add it to the paste.
Okay.
And you don't muddle the leaves in there, you press. And after that?
It's the alcohol.
You got it.
Yeah? With the alcohol, you're going to use about 8 ounces.
Okay.
Okay? So you're going to get that inside now. We're going to just do it around. Like I said, you have a mango mojito, you have a pineapple mojito, you can do various flavors rum. But basically this one is spiced with the Bacardi O-Card. And so we add ice.
Oh, okay, got it.
And after the ice, some ginger beer.
Yeah. So you're gonna add an entire can of ginger beer. And then you're gonna roll it.
Oh.
See, it's a process, and that's the thing about a mojito. You're gonna roll it. You're gonna make sure all those ingredients come from the bottom. Inside, as you can see the mint and the granulation, and so you wanna dissolve that.
And we enjoy.
So this right here, Kenneth, this is our Gone Fishing Mojito.
This is our Gone Fishing Mojito.
Okay. To go, might as well just grab that one. To go on fishing.
Still to come on our news, the sounds of the police pop band come alive this Christmas season. The details are after this break.